Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. I'm a blogger and influencer based in Scottsdale, Arizona. I started my YouTube when I was 12 years old because I was super into makeup, and my mom said, I was too young for makeup. She wouldn't buy me any makeup, and I spent a lot of my time watching beauty YouTubers, and I noticed that a lot of them were getting sent free makeup in exchange for YouTube videos. So I thought, if they could get sponsorships like that, I can as well. So my first couple of YouTube videos were actually really funny. Since I didn't have makeup, I would just play pretend. I would make these YouTube like beauty tutorials, and I didn't have I didn't have foundation. So I would just rub my hands together and start applying literally nothing on my face. And that was basically the start of it. And I would borrow my cousin's makeup, make videos about it. And I started pitching to companies when I was 12 and 13. And I landed my first sponsored YouTube video when I was 13. And then essentially I grew my YouTube channel to 8,000 subscribers by the age of 17. And I stopped making YouTube videos because Instagram was becoming more popular in 2011, 2012 era. So I pretty much switched my platform from YouTube to Instagram, focused on that. And then I decided to start my blog in 2016, my first year in college, because this was before Instagram had the whole carousel posting, and I wanted to post more than one photo, but I didn't want to spam on my Instagram. So I created my blog. Essentially, it started off as a photo dump, but then it was getting noticed by brands and companies. So I decided to focus more on that and utilizing that. So I've accumulated roughly 52,000 followers across all my social media platforms. I've worked with several Fortune 500 companies as well as local ones. Some of the companies I've worked with are Kroger, Fry's, Kimberly-Clark, and Scottsdale Fashion Square. So today we're going to be talking about benefits of using Instagram for your business, identifying your purpose for social media, why branding is crucial, and then setting up your profile on Instagram, how often you should be posting on Instagram, building your following, tags and hashtags, and then I'll also include resources for content creation. So why should you use Instagram? There are over 800 million active users on Instagram. Of those 800 million, over 500 million are on the platform on a daily basis. The platform is open to everyone, and anyone can utilize Instagram regardless of their company size and your budget, which is really nice, and allows your customers to learn more about you and your company, which increases brand awareness. It's also great to network and build relationship with other companies. You can do so by collaborating or hosting events together. So identifying your purpose, the four main reasons why people use social media is to share, learn, interact, or to market. So for me, I wanted to inspire people and connect with others who are in similar positions as I am. So I was a college lifestyle blogger, but I recently graduated ASU this past May. So I'm kind of transitioning into going into adulthood, which is what my content primarily focuses nowadays. And then how I identify my audience is people who are in the same age group as I am. So I wrote out my demographics, my gender, and the age. So primarily 18 to 20. So branding is important because it creates a memorable impression. Why does branding need to be consistent? Because it allows consumers to trust your brand. So when you think of Coca-Cola, you think of red and white. So it really helps create an impression for your brand. So this is what my branding consists of. I have my color palette, which includes my main colors as well as my complementary colors. I have my logo on with a pink background versus on a white background. And then I also have my fonts I use for my header as well as my copy. So we have some branding examples. The first one on the left is Boomo Parent. They use very pastel colors. They are geared towards parents. So you can see there's a consistency in colors as well as fonts that they use throughout their feed. And the one on the right is Joyce the Dentist. So she uses consistent coloring, which you can see is kind of a muted pink, and her photos are very light, airy, and professional. So setting up your Instagram profile, what should be in your bio? You should have a clear photo of you or your logo, a clear title of who or what you are. So for me, I have Arizona blogger, an about section. So I wrote that I'm a coffee lover, ASU alumni, and I'm documenting my journey as a future homeowner. And then a call to action. So I currently don't have a call to action right now on my page, but usually it's read the newest blog post, or if you're a business, schedule your appointment, book a consult, whatever it is. Oops. Okay, so some profile examples. The one on the very left, and it's free. They have, very distinct logo as their profile picture. They have an about section. They're available in Sephora, and their call to action is book your free virtual consultation below. In the middle, we have a nurse injector located in Scottsdale. Very clear that she's an aesthetic nurse. Her call to action is click down below to schedule an appointment. And then on the right, we have Hims, very clear on what they are, men's wellness product. And then call to action is check out their sister brand. So how often should you be posting? It's important to post frequently and consistently. So for Instagram feed, most brands will post 2.3 times a week, so 2 or 3 times a week. It's recommended to post once a day, no more than 3 times a day, just because it can seem spammy and overwhelming. As for Instagram stories, the median number of stories published in a day is 3. However, it's recommended 10 times throughout the day, and over 20 can be overwhelming. And then there are several tools to schedule posts, which includes Later or Preview, Planoly. It'll be at the end of the presentation as well. So building your following. Once you set up your profile, it's crucial to gain followers, engage with your audience. So you can do this by liking comments, responding to comments, and as well as not only on your photos, but other people in your community as well. And you don't want to ignore DMs. You want to provide thoughtful resources with link to your website. So instead of just responding to messages, also, put a call to action, refer it back to your website. That's always a good source of traffic. And also engage with other people in your community, liking and engaging with geotagged photos or resharing their photos on your story. So hashtags and tags. On Instagram feeds, you can tag up to 20 accounts and use up to 30 hashtags. For Instagram stories, you can tag up to 10 accounts and use up to 10 hashtags. And also you can add in a geolocation. If you don't like the look of hashtags on your Instagram stories, you can, pretty much shrink it and put a sticker over it or blend it in with the background. There are 3 sizes of hashtags. So they're small, which contains 0 to 250,000 posts, medium, 250,000 to 1 million posts, and then big, which is 1 to 5 million and up post. So you want to make sure you mix up your tags and hashtags. Instagram will shadow ban you if you're using the same ones over and over. So it's good to have like numerous sets and rotate throughout them. And it's also important to make sure your tags are relevant to the photo, because if people are stumbling across your photo through a tag that has no correlation, the user can report your photo and you can be shadow banned through that as well. So always do diligence towards hashtags. So resources, we have Canva, which is free. They do have a membership plan, but you can create posts and they have free templates. It's super easy to use, equivalent to Photoshop. You can create graphics, flyers. They have numerous of templates on there. There's Unfold. This one I use, it's also an app. So you can create Instagram story collages and designs as well. And then there's Splice. This is mostly for video editing, recording, super easy to use. And then we have Over. You can upload fonts from your computer onto the app, use it on graphics. You can make graphics with them. And then there's Cut Story. So this Instagram Stories allows up to 15 seconds per slide. And if you have a longer video, instead of manually cutting it and then it doesn't flow seamlessly, you can go into Cut Story and have it cut into 15 seconds for Instagram Stories. And then we have scheduling apps. So there's Buffer, Later, Preview, Hootsuite, and Planoly. I use Planoly for my personal account, and then I use Hootsuite for my clients just because it's easier to manage. You can post, on Twitter, on Facebook, not just solely on Instagram.
And Demi, those scheduling apps that you mentioned, those are just out there that people can access. They're their own companies
Yes,
that do
yes.
this type of work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do we have any questions?
Yeah, I had a question in regards to the hashtags and
Mm-hmm.
the value that, I mean, do you see value in that, in using the hashtags?
So yes, I do see values. You can actually go onto your Instagram if you have like a business or creator account instead of a personal one. You can go onto your Instagram posts and look to see how many people are finding your post through hashtags.
Well, that's good to know. These are great tips. I think when in the breakout sessions, I know that our session talked about how often we actually do this ourselves, but it's good to see like how often people are doing it. We all thought that we could really increase our, being able to do it more, right, for our businesses. So this information is timely, and it's good information for us to think about. You made some good comments too, Demi, about when you look at an advertisement or when you look at a page and it is light and airy, it kind of draws you to that page.
Mm-hmm.
So those examples that you showed, I think that I never even thought of that.
I have a question for you, Demi. Very nice presentation. Talk to me about how the sponsorship works for you. Do they reach out to you, and what does that look like? And then how do you continue to foster that relationship?
Mm-hmm. So when I first started pitching back when I was like 12, 13, there wasn't really any resources out there for me. I remember watching these YouTube videos of these, teenage boys talking about how to get pitched or how to pitch to gaming companies for like a new mouse keyboard. So I had to really watch that, learn how they're doing it, and then adapt to my own needs, which were, cosmetics. And so when you pitch to companies, you really have to think from their perspective, how can you bring value to them? And there's also, having a media kit or a press kit kind of with your it's like a short 1 to 2 page information about you and your like stats, demographics, how you can help their company. So that's one way to pitch. You can do code pitching. Another thing is to go through agencies. A lot of, agencies do that. A lot of companies outsource their influencer marketing to agencies. So a good way for that is kind of what I like to do is look up, a list of PR agency and send them an introduction email saying, hi, my name is Demi, this, about myself, and then asking them, if there's any opportunities that they see, definitely keep me in mind. And that has worked pretty well. And then also every year I like to send them kind of like a holiday cards too. I try to send one in the mail. If I can't find their address, I'll do one electronically, but I feel like, I love mailing stuff. So that is one. And most of the time companies will reach out to me, and it's usually through agency. And then to foster that, pretty much just use their product. If I genuinely love it, I'll post about it regardless if it's paid or not, just to share with my followers. And then kind of just keeping on tabs, probably once or twice a year, asking, how can I be of help of them, or be of help to them and their company.
Good, thank you. Very good.
Demi, there's a question from Rini Stabelna. She's asking, who was your first local sponsor?
My first local sponsor. I can't really remember my first one, but I remember the first one that I was really excited about was with Scottsdale Fashion Square. So they asked me to do, it was, I believe it was like a 2-month campaign. I post about them once every other week, and just highlighting their stores that they have. And yeah, it's really fun. And then I worked with them again for another spring fashion event. So I got to see like their runway show. And yeah, that was basically, that was my, I guess, like one that was so exciting. I wouldn't stop talking about it for a good month or so. But
She has one more question. She's also asking, what platform would you recommend using for women of the age of 45 plus?
Probably, most likely Facebook. I think Facebook has a slightly older audience than Instagram, and then TikTok is a lot younger, I would say. So Facebook is really good, or even making your own blog. That's always something valuable to have.
Any more questions? Oh, wait,
Well, I have one. So Demi, if you do your own blog, then how do you get people to follow you?
So there's a lot of different ways. You can optimize your SEO, so that's usually through direct traffic. And then there's also Pinterest. Pinterest drives in probably a third of my traffic, just pinning things and engaging with other boards on Pinterest. Very, very useful. And directing people to your blog from other social media platforms that you're already on.
Like even with promoting a business or a product?
Yeah, you can definitely create a blog for that, and talking, doing more like solutions or educational blog posts.
Thank you.
awesome. We have a couple more questions coming through the chat. Madhu is asking, how do you find the agencies who help you with getting sponsors? And can you name a few agencies who offer this service?
Yeah, so there's some agency where they only primarily focus on Instagram influencers, and then other agencies where they're focusing on bloggers and Instagram. So some of my favorite, actually I'll type in my favorites as well. There's Social Fabric, and then there's obviously Linkia, and I think that those three are my main favorite ones.
Awesome. Carol Polson is asking, is there an app or a way to post one time that the discrepancies to all social media platforms? So getting out there.
Yes, there's several. The only one I can think off the top of my head is Hootsuite. So Hootsuite is free. I believe you can link up to 3 different accounts. So you can link Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram as well, and schedule it, and it will publish on all those platforms that you have it set for.
We do have one more from the chat. It says, from Cynthia, does the video editing app you share work with combining videos?
Yes, you can select clips, combine them, add a transition to combine them as well.
Any more questions?
Is that video editing app free, or we need to subscribe to it?
It's free. They do have a paid version as well, but I've never used the paid version, and the free one does everything that I need.
Okay, thank you.
So, looks like we are all out of questions. Demi, thank you so much.
One more. I have one more. And I was wondering if you could, I know you're actively on social media, and then sometimes when you're on Instagram, you do come across scammers. Can you talk about how people can protect themselves from certain scams and DMs and things like that?
So usually I've noticed with scammers is it might be a hashtag that you're using that's very overly popular, and sometimes that can draw scammers and weird accounts. Also, probably just check to see, if you're geotagging the location that you're tagging your photos, if, people are actually using it, or if it's a bunch of scammers. And if it keeps on happening, maybe, put your profile on private for some time to see if they'll go away.
Thank you.
Well, again, Demi, thank you so much for all this incredible information.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It was very useful and very with the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Debbie, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Special thanks to Demi for inspiring us, Demi, to up our social media game, right? And for the good tips and on approach. So thank you. All right. So now this month,